Hi, I'm Val. Welcome to my channel. Uh, do you ever tell yourself if you would, you could? If you could, you would have chickens? I kind of always had that in the back of my mind and used to live in an urban environment. But because of my schedule, um, with my workload and travel responsibilities, it never really came to fruition, but it was like one of those things that was kind of like an element of let me leave this life and move to the countryside, right? And then I'm gonna have chickens. Mr. Honker's back there. My one of the roosters. That's the oldest rooster. He was born here. So over the years, I've had trials and tribulations of how to, raise chickens and keep them safe. My first batch of chickens I ordered from a hatchery, which is really amazing, and they ship them to you. But that experience, my first shipping experience, I lived in Rhode Island, and what I didn't realize was that the post office where I had to pick it up was not climate controlled, and they didn't get in touch with me until like the afternoon. So some of the babies didn't make it because it was so cold in the post office, in like the mail facility. Then when I finally like hand raised them and got them into a coop, um, at one point I had this whole giant kind of like space built for them. And there was like a pack of abandoned dogs or something, like nearby neighbors or something like that, where they crawled under a space. They crawled through kind of like the chicken wire at the base and killed all the chickens and then couldn't get out. So I've had a variety of challenges with habitat structures and predator problems. And over the years, like, one chicken would go missing or something like that. But this past Memorial Day weekend was the most traumatic experience I've had, um, in the times that I've had chickens. So it I've created, and I'm going to take you on a little tour. I've created kind of like this giant zone for them because I had purchased the um, kind of the pre-constructed uh, chicken coops. And what ended up happening in all of those situations is chickens don't actually like being inside them. They want to be on top of them. So that kind of created this challenge where am I going to battle these chickens every single night and like shove them inside? Or do I kind of create a different space for them so that they can roost? So let's get into kind of this problem solving where I'm at. And yeah, let me show you some things. So if you're looking to buy one of the pre-constructed coops, rabbit hutches, that type of thing that are available at many places, brick and mortar stores, or order online, they're pretty cool when you think about it because it's a kit and it comes and you put it all together. But my experience has been is that they fall apart really quickly. So this is one of like, gosh, I think I've had three total. Because at one point I had chickens in a couple of different spaces because I was trying to kind of control their area and wanted um, kind of bug control in certain spots, like in the garden and around the houses and stuff. And now all of my chickens reside closer. So anyway, and then also when I've had hatchlings, I needed like a separate space to take care of them. But anyway, you can kind of see how flimsy this has become. Plus, I've been really reconsidering like the like asphalt aspect of this, you know, like the wood, it just rots. So let me show you one more. And um, the the chicken zone that I have, and the dilemma and new build construction challenge that I'm working on. All right, so here's remnants of another coop that was actually pretty big and made out of like cedar or something. But again, the chickens like preferred to get up on the roof. Only a few of them would actually roost inside of it. And the stuff just kind of started to rot and fall apart um, pretty quickly. I also had this little like playground thing that they loved, but that kind of fell apart too. So you can see here, and I've just got this as a pile to possibly reuse some of this wood. Um, but you can see that, you know, like the screws are getting rusted, and the pieces just kind of start to fall apart, right? So like that piece, it's cedar, but anyway, over here you can kind of see, um, you know, the intermediate remnants of that cedar coop, and it's just kind of stuck right there for the short term before I figure out my new setup. And what's fun is to watch the chickens and how they kind of utilize space. So there's a couple of them that are underneath there. Hey guys. Hi Hawks. All right, so what I did like about this coop, why I originally bought it, is it had a chicken run to it, which included all of these pieces here, which are still a little bit intact. And the reason why they're a little bit intact is because I actually ended up taking them off of the coop. So you can see that this is just like a window screen. So what I found was the problem was that I just, you know, to like get in there, you're constantly like literally crawling around in places. Like they just weren't big enough for a human being to kind of take care of the creatures. So what I ended up doing, hey, hi baby, hi, what's up? So what I ended up doing is like creating kind of this giant space for the chickens, like an entirely enclosed zone. So this area here is basically all shade, nothing grows. So it makes way more sense for it to be a chicken habitat. So what I was doing was on the outside, you can kind of see here, um, I made basically like a surrounding with T-posts and this metal. And then I actually had a netting that was at this level here over to like a roof, because I was originally worried about predators from the sky. And what I've discovered is that predators from the ground are more of a challenge. So lots of bamboo on my property that I could cut down. And then I just wanted to kind of make this like a super fun decorative element. So you can kind of see that I put shorter sticks and wove them through. And then I've got this netting here to kind of prevent the chickens from flying out and then something flying in. But that still didn't stop whatever was getting in here. And right now it's kind of all disassembled. So basically, Memorial Day weekend this year, I started losing birds. And at one point, it was about 4 in the morning. Um, and I was just trying to secure all of the spaces for them and putting netting around things. Um, and then it was just kind of 4 a.m. catastrophe. Like the chickens just scattered everywhere. And I had to get up and like pick them all up and literally put them in the garage. Um, so let me take you on a tour of kind of like what I had constructed and kind of where I'm at. So this small shed is something new that I bought after that predator situation. So I'll get back to this. Um, let's go on the outside. Okay. So yeah, so this has kind of been pulled apart, but you can see that I've got this all kind of like, you know, the chicken Taj Mahal, and they really love being able to get around in the, you know, in the little crevices. So the idea was that they would be all enclosed in these areas at night, and then during the day before, um, you know, like 9 or 10 in the morning, they would be enclosed in here, and this gives them a nice big space to hang out. And they actually were doing really well in this space. For more than a year, I did not have any problems with losing any birds. Here, I had an old dog kennel um, that when I moved it from a different location, the chain link from the two sides was a little bit cumbersome. So what I ended up doing here is, you can kind of see, make like a little bamboo wall here, which was great. So the problem here, hi Leo, hi buddy. Problem here was, and the reason why I have 2 roosting spots is that I had more baby chickens and they needed, you know, a little bit bigger space. So I created this whole kind of like mishmash space for them to roost on, but they actually like to go as high as they can. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, there's ways for predators to climb in here. So, but this isn't where I was losing the birds. Anyway, they do like to fly up and sleep on top of these structures, and they really love the bamboo to do that. Hi guys. Yeah. Yeah, so when I had 2 different batches of the chickens and the roosters to get them to kind of greet each other, I had 2 separate spaces. Now, because I lost enough of them, they're kind of reunited as a family, and I've got 6 or 7 in a different space right now that eventually are going to come back outside. Leo, what you doing? All right, so let's take a look at, and I'm reusing fun things. So like this is a a gate that I found a long time ago at like a thrift store or flea market in Nashville, which is like the best thing ever. And here kind of stopped what I was doing with the netting, and then had to start taking things apart. Okay, so let's go back. You can kind of see the structure here. They love this like luau hut thing. So what was happening was I had the pre-constructed coops that were just not functioning. So I wanted more space for them, and I found this was actually a shelf thing. It's still pretty dirty. needs to be cleaned up, a shelf thing that was like left over in one of the barn garages. And I started here with this. And they love nesting in here. Hey, baby. Let's see if I can get her in there. Yeah, so they usually, this is one of the spots where they like to, 3 different levels. And then at night, they loved this little seat. They would sit up here. And then I actually, at one point, had a couple of like bamboo pieces going across here that they could like fly up and sleep on like as a roost, and they love this. So winter came last year and I was able to enclose it, let's go back, with some tarps that have special insulation like this. It's pretty cool. It has like foil, so it was easier to maintain all of the birds in this kind of space here. But, and then dogs on the outside at night. But something came, like I said, a few months ago, and one after the other, day after the other, there'd be a bird being munched on. So what started happening was they started flying up and like sitting on the roof up here, or finding other spaces like these bamboo pieces. So what I ended up doing was taking them all and putting them in the tool shed, and I'm going to reconfigure this. I also purchased this metal shed, and it's still kind of, I put this all together except for the door, and I'm still trying to figure out the best enclosure solution. But I think that they're going to like this once it's finished. And then this shelf was on the back porch, and they just loved sitting on the shelf. So I brought this over here. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And what I'm going to be doing is, this is a, what is this? Like a dog pen thing that moves around. They love like sitting on top of this. So I have all of my materials here. I've got this to reuse, and I've got a bunch of like hardware cloth there to reuse. So the goal right now is to actually like enclose this section within the bigger chicken zone, so that all of the chickens can be in one spot again that is completely safe at night for them. Hi, Fluffy. Hi, Fluffy Butts. If you wanted to just hit the like button and subscribe, or not subscribe, just do the notification button. And I would love to tell you more of my stories, trials, and tribulations. So, anyway, if you have ever said, if I could, I would have chickens, I 100% and they all agree that you should also have chickens. And if you can, at least one rooster as well. All right, so problem solving. Some of the issues with problem solving that can be like overwhelming is you have too many, literally too many decisions to make, and it's really hard to kind of see the end result. So that's why you have to really like think about and let your brain do some of that work behind the scenes, the aha moments. So for me, some of the things that I have to think about are like my time, and functionality. Like, what are the things that are just going to really aggravate me? Like, um, and then like tools, do I have to like cut a bunch of crap? Do I have to like unroll things? Do I have to lift things? Do I have to do all of these things? That's part of like the overwhelming part of the problem solving. And why this project literally has taken me 5 months to just kind of like ignore it, um, realize some of the solutions. So, right here are some of these panels that came from the pre-fab chicken coop thing. And these, I think, were like meant to be like this high. So it's only like 3 feet high. I can't remember. And basically too small to like for someone who's not a child to get inside and like do all that. I mean, for a chicken, they only need the little space. But for me, I'm trying to make my life function and that I'm not constantly in this like frustrated, why do I have to squat down to, get eggs or whatever it might be, right? Okay, so I have like 3 panels here. I have a spool of thread, not thread. I have a spool of yarn that's like this green stuff, but I can't find it right now. So I have a lot of hay bale strings. I keep these things for reusing. So one of the things that I'm trying to do here too is like, instead of throwing everything away, because I physically have to take things to the landfill, I think that something might have a second life or a third life. Um, so I keep a lot of materials for that purpose. So hopefully this will come in handy right now. So I'm just going to hook this here. Okay, and then this is the kennel that I had. Now it is leaning, and that's partially because the top part on the other side broke from the weight of the water on the tarp. Um, then I also have lots of extra bamboo. So you can kind of see here, this is the decorative part. And then, I don't know, over there on that corner, I have one that's really tall. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to use these pieces. Oh gosh, it looks like I have one on the inside. To create a barrier here. And I'm going to put another piece of bamboo across so I can tie it. So what I want to do is create additional obstacle for any sort of predator. So there's actually a separate level here of an outcropping of the building. So an animal can get up here and jump. The cats do it all the time. The cats jump up here and jump in. The chickens know how to jump out. I've taken down all of the other tarps and everything that I had in order to do this now. So you're not seeing what it looked like before. But anyway, this is kind of the goal here. So what I need to do is I need to put one more piece of bamboo tall enough so that I can tie it. And then I want to put a horizontal piece of bamboo because to that I'm going to attach the netting to be on top. Yep. So the unruly material. So this material I'm reusing because it's all nice and flat and stapled and everything's fine. I have more sections of this, but it's all rolled and curled and like harsh on the edges. And I don't want to wear my gloves right now. And I'm not measuring this. I don't. I'm just going by the eye. I'm not measuring the width of it. Like if some of it sticks out or sticks, whatever. And if I get to the end and it's not quite enough, then I'll figure out that as I go. So I'm not necessarily someone who has to have like architectural schematic plans of like, this is going to be this dimension and I need all of these materials. I'm not functioning that way in this. It's kind of like I've been creating alternative temporary solutions of where my chickens live, and I want to finish this project. Um, and sometimes I'm just going to go with my intuition, and then it's turns into like a hodgepodge thing rather than like a meticulously designed structure, which isn't really me. I'm not an architect. All right, so let's see how we do. Sorry, the sound is like super bright right now. Oh, gee. Okay, I've got this really cool tool here, and it folds up. A little latch there, really lightweight. Open it up, and it's got this little latch here. Love this. Okay, cloud covered the sun. Perfect timing. All right, so this is some of the bamboo that I've already cut down. It's dried. This piece you can kind of see has like it kind of like it probably got some of the winter storm last year where it like bent it as it was growing or something. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so this is going to hopefully be my vertical for the corner and then the horizontal for the top just to hold everything together. I held it up and I'm just eyeballing. The other thing when I'm cutting bamboo is that I like to keep it right at the notch. If I cut it in the middle, it leaves a hole inside, right? Because bamboo is hollow. And there's a lot of wasps and mud doggers and yellow jacket, like a lot of bees and things that look for those holes to create their nest. So I want to prevent that. So I like to cut so that it's solid. All right, so that one's solid. This one's not, but this one's going to go on the ground. Okay. And then this one is also, I don't think that worked, but anyway, so this is going to be my corner piece that I'm going to tie a horizontal piece to. So it's really cool to have the bamboo grove so that I can use bamboo for all these projects. All right, so let's take a look at the progress here. So I'm using the string, you know, and you got to reach around. So I'm standing up, I'm elevated, and I want to make sure that nothing can, like a raccoon. I'm worried about raccoons and bobcats mostly. So I want to make sure that nothing can kind of like squeeze through here. So I've got that kind of like beam angled down on purpose because I want things to kind of like, you know, have an angle when the leaves fall, when the snow falls, all that kind of stuff, so that I can manage that side on the inside. And then just a little overlap there, and then trying to just cover up that spot there. So I'm pretty sure that the chickens are going to enjoy sleeping on top of this, but underneath that like roof thing. So I'm going to put another panel on that side, because let me take you over there so I can explain. Then lastly, I do have some little zips that I know they're not sustainable, but there aren't really any other options right now. And then I'm just kind of tacking up this netting that is going to go lower over there, just so that nothing can jump over. So during the pandemic, I actually took a naturalist class, and I learned a little bit more about this predator situation. So the zoology section explained that a bobcat is going to basically catch the prey and take it away and eat it somewhere else. So what they're doing is they're trying to basically like find an opening and an easy access out. So they'll come and look, but if they can't figure out that they can actually get back out, then they'll hopefully give up. Raccoons, on the other hand, will catch the bird, eat it right then and there, but not devour the whole thing. And then they'll leave the carcass. Sometimes I've heard that raccoons will reach through the chicken wire. So if your chickens are too close to the chicken wire, the raccoon will reach in and like break their necks and stuff like that, which is crazy. So I haven't had that problem, but I have had the raccoons basically figured out that it was raccoons mostly because the carcasses would be left. Or I actually found where the raccoons were had created like a den, and they would drag the bird into this sheltery area that they had discovered and have their meal there. They were pretty hungry raccoons because they were eating one a day. So let's take a look at the other section here so I can prevent this from happening ever again. Okay, so here we are on the other side, and what was happening is I just added this shelf here. This wasn't here when I originally installed this kennel. And the birds, this bamboo is also something here. So the birds were actually sleeping, resting on this metal piece. So my big concern was in the wintertime, they would freeze. So I put a couple of extra pieces on up here, trying to help them roost on something that wasn't going to be metal freezing. So they were like huddling in this area in between this and this little like roof thing. So I'm trying to create a corner here for them to kind of do the same thing, but not rest on this metal. So I'm thinking that they're going to really enjoy being on the top shelf underneath this thing. And then when I bring the other shelf over, I'm also going to add those white panels here. So there's a roof that they can, you know, sleep under so they're not getting wet. All right, so I'm going to do that next. What y'all doing? Are you having fun in there? All right, yay for step ladders. Okay, and I had one other piece of this You can see it's broken, but that's okay. I have the frame. So this is from one of the other coops that I had that literally fell apart. You can see how it rotted. But this is going to be great because they love this little corner here. And I want to make sure that this is all protected. So I've got this netting here attached, and there's a nice little corner. Plus this is an insulated tarp, which is going to prevent any sort of grabbing from this side, and then also keeps a little bit more warmth if they decide to sleep on the other layers. So right now, this is going to be hanging here until I do part 2. So part 2 is going to be disassembling the shelf thing so I can bring it and put it right here. And then I'm thinking that the roof structure is going to, because before I had it going this way, I'm going to try and do it this way, but I'm not sure yet. And then you can see that there's a tarp there that is attached, and you know, it's beautiful weather, but as the temperatures drop, that tarp, I'm not going to cut it off. I'm just going to be able to put it back up to have a wind barrier there. And then the lower parts, I actually had kind of the hardware cloth thickness because I didn't want anything getting in on the lower side. I also, when I had little baby chickens in here, they could squeeze through, they could get through the little spots, and they could get through these little spots. So baby chickens, if I have more baby chickens in the future, I'll have to put some more netting on the inside here so that they can't go in and out. Okay, so let's check out the progress here. I did not video the transportation of this shelf unit over here, but basically had to kind of disassemble it and then literally lay it down, drag it over, I don't know how far, and then we got it in here. So the next thing is, pretty sure what I'm going to do here is, because this chain link is so close to being accessed, I'm going to put the netting behind this. And then what I did was I have the vinyl roof shingle thingy, which fits perfectly up above on these bamboo. Now I just have to figure out the best way to secure it so it doesn't fly away. I have a second sheet of that I'm going to figure out, maybe to get a few more bamboo pieces up here and do one more layer. And then I'm going to redo some way the kind of the little luau hut shelf thing for them. Let's see how we do with that. Progress report. I have the hardware cloth already attached to the old cedar former chicken coop that fell apart, but I had reused these for something else. So now they're being reused a third time. I'm reusing, basically finding uses for materials that kind of come through my daily life, right? So hay bales wrapped with this, it's not yarn, but anyway, it's durable. And why throw it away when I can use it for other things? So weaving and kind of sticking my fingers through here, right? The reusing the roof material that I have bought for when the chicken coop was in a different direction or different place. And this time I'm elevating it even higher than it was before. So I think the chickens are actually going to really love sitting up here. Now, this is going to protect from predators. You can see that I'm actually standing on something. So I want to make sure that they can't be attacked from this side. In the wintertime, I've got tarps that I can tie up to prevent the wind from going. But the chickens really, they'll huddle in together. And then I actually added some netting here with a little bit of zip ties every so often so that raccoons can't put their fingers through here and, and you know, hurt a chicken, and also animals can't squeeze through there really easily. So any sort of deterrent is really good. All right, so it is going to be weather, like it's November, but in Tennessee, and it's like super warm. I'm wearing a t-shirt for 2 more days. So my goal is to finish this project tonight, so that I can put, I've got 6 or 7 baby chickens, roosters that are about 4 to 6 months old now. I think like 4 months maybe. And they're in the garage with the peacocks, and they have access to the outside aviary, and I put them in the window, but they won't go outside. They have no idea that they can go outside. So the goal is to get them in here tonight. It's better to move chickens at night. And they'll wake up in here, and I'll keep the door closed for a couple of weeks. I'll come in and out to feed them, and that way the other chickens can get to know them. It takes a few weeks for chickens to kind of establish their likeness of each other, right? The new kid on the block doesn't necessarily get to fit in right away. And then I think Thursday and Friday it's going to rain. Temperatures are going to drop. Next week, it'll be in like the 60s overnight temperatures. So after a couple of weeks, I'm going to put all of the roosters and all of the chickens in here. And there's enough room. Oh my gosh. Cats. Hank. There's Hank making a cameo. Hank, dude, you're not helping. What are you doing? Are you causing problems? You're causing problems. All right. So anyway, so my goal, the reason why I'm trying to knock this out, and it's taking a few days of my time, also videoing, is because it's November and I want to have this project completed as soon as possible so that I can go through those days and time constraints to eventually move all of the animals in here, and then station my guard dogs that bark and attempt to chase predators at night. A predator could simply be, at night, could be, it could be little skunks. It could be anything that's nocturnal that's walking around that they're going to bark at, including, cars and that kind of thing. So take a look at what I've got here. I originally had these bamboo right there onto this piece here that I built, and the chickens before really loved this corner, so I've actually created this whole corner so that they are super protected, and they also can't get out from that side. So that was another thing. Like, the way I had this constructed before was pretty loose, and the chickens could actually climb in and out from over here. So what ended up happening was I have got holes in this plastic piece that I had in the other location. So I've been able to use the cord and kind of tie it together, and then this netting is going to be on top. So I'm hoping that that will help from any sort of wind, and then it's going to protect them underneath from the rain. This netting, I really like the material of this. It doesn't fall apart as easily as the other types of netting that I've tried, and like the netting that you can get for the garden and stuff is just a lot thinner, and your finger, it's like a little bit smaller. I think this is an inch, but this is also, I try to eliminate plastic as much as possible, but unfortunately there's not many options, right, for products. Um, and this allows for air to flow. It's a deterrent for the predators, and the challenge is I have to make it sloping a little bit, because if it does snow, this will get heavy. So that is going to be the biggest challenge, to make sure that I don't overweigh this. So you can see over there the white pipe. That was the bigger problem that I had before. When I set this up, I had a tarp covering it to give them shade and also overhead protection. And we had a crazy rainstorm pretty soon after I set this up. And there was so much rain in the tarp that it collapsed and bent that section of the metal. So yesterday I went to the local hardware store and found that pipe section, PVC. It's nice and sturdy, and it fits perfectly. So I think that that's going to be a good solution. And then over there in the driveway, I've actually dragged over some super long pieces of bamboo that I'm going to cut and put so that I have one more section. So these pieces I did last year. So I'm going to do pretty much the same thing, extend it so I can put one more cover. So let's go over there and we'll talk about bamboo. All right, so I cut this bamboo down. You can see it is nice and long. So it's going to be 2 pieces per section. As I mentioned before, I like to make sure that I don't leave a huge hole in the edges, because of wasps and bugs can kind of get into it. And bamboo actually also splits. For the purpose of what I'm doing on this, I don't really want to use the split section. So for this piece, I'll probably cut it down here. Eventually it might split. It's not super weight bearing. It's gonna just be beneath the white vinyl roof thing, just to help keep the water and the elements. And it's also on a slope, so hopefully that slope will help alleviate any sort of weight. That's all the math and physics stuff that I'm not really calculating. Hank, are you trying to help? Hank, dude, what are you doing? I'm busy. Can't you see I'm busy? All right, let's get to work. Okay, so I don't want to put too many more of the bamboo pieces on top of this, because I only have one support. I'm going to have to maybe add more supports here. But I've reused the hay bale strings, cords, whatever you want to call them. tied these up and they go all the way across. It looks pretty cool. And I think that this is pretty good width for the last panel, which is there. I have holes in it from where I had previously had it installed. So now I don't really want to drill holes in the bamboo. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with this piece. Use the holes to basically kind of like tie it down to this. And because it's a slope, this is going to help with the rain, and the weight of this hopefully will not hold a lot of snow. That'll be the challenge to deal with. And then this netting is going to go over top the whole. I have more pieces of this. So once I get the white piece up, I'm going to actually add this netting. So with that, I'll be able to, kind of like move it up and down with like a stick or broom underneath. And I can also stand up over there and get rid of any sort of snow ice if it's too heavy and this starts to collapse, which is probably my life because I'm constantly trying to fix problems. There's Leo hanging out. Leo was a stray cat. Found him under the house. I think that he might have been abused and dumped. He has kind of spatial issues, and you can see that Hank is playing nice right now. He's over there. He and Charlie, another stray cat that's been here a few years, don't get along. I think they came from the same barn cat colony, which is like over that way somewhere. When I get the male cats, probably at the, a year and a half, 2 years old, they get rejected. All right, let's see the progress next. I need 2 more pieces of bamboo. I'm gonna go grab some that I cut down for the other bamboo project in that video you may have seen. If you want to check out my bamboo project, this hen really likes this spot. She's been pacing, waiting. I don't know if she's gonna lay an egg or not. She might have a problem when I close all the other chickens in here, but we'll give her an alternative roosting spot between then and when I let them back in here full time. All right, I'm gonna go grab some more of the thicker pieces to finish the roof. And then where I'm standing here, I'm gonna put that shelf, the luau shelf. So again, this is like a puzzle. Life, like I mentioned early in the video, it took me several months to try and figure this out. I took this apart and dragged it over, not really wanting to disassemble and uncut all of these things, which was kind of pain because I'm probably going to have to do that anyway because it's going to be shorter. But anyway, these are pieces that the chickens have, hung out on, and maybe I'll disassemble it and rinse them all off again. Okay, so the puzzle pieces are starting to come together. It's looking really good. And, if you can put one foot in front of the other and kind of identify, I need to do this before this in order to solve a problem. I think that's really a good way to approach it. A lot of times problems, they're overwhelming. We don't know where to start, so we just give up. And I think that this is, these tasks that I'm doing really help me with my brain because it is problem solving, and it is like a really super satisfying experience when I finally figure out the puzzle. Well, it's not going to work. I have to untie it, which is going to be okay. Sometimes you have to redo things. So this probably be easier if you have 2 extra hands. I'm doing this solo, so again, it's another jigsaw puzzle. I'm gonna cut that piece off. I started here with screw underneath, resting on this guy. This now has a couple of screws in it. And then this cross beam, I have two screws on the outside here, and then this is my challenge. So I found a longer screw. I don't have enough room on this side to get the screwdriver in. So I'm making a little ledge with a longer screw, and then I'm going to have extra hand here without an extra hand. Yay, okay. It's not quite square, but you know, it's just for the chickens, and it's not supporting anything more than just chickens. So it's pretty good and sturdy, screwed into lots of different places. I had to unattach all of the bamboo pieces, so now I'll go back and give them this little platform. I want to be able to get underneath here. So before, I actually had it, you can see on this shelf, I couldn't figure out where I had screwed it in, and it was underneath. So I had it at this level, and now I'm going to have it higher because I want to be able to walk under here slightly in case they lay eggs on that side. I have this pink rope from actually large round bales of hay. And again, keeping things just to maybe reuse them a couple of times. I finally finished the project. I was delayed a little bit because I ran out of zip ties, so I had to run to the store. Did that on an errand, so that took, you know, a bit of time. The rain held out, so the last thing I need to do is tonight, when it gets dark, bring the group of chickens that are growing up and living with the peacocks right now. I've opened the window to the aviary and I've shown them the window, but they just don't want to go outside. So we're going to put them in here for a couple of weeks and they'll get to know the other chickens before they start to interact. Right, baby? Okay, so I'll just review a little bit here. Let her out. Here, baby, you want to get out? Want to go out? Yeah, good girl. Okay, so when it gets colder, the metal is going to contract and this is going to loosen up. So this is the thing that I have to keep an eye on the most. I wanted to put, I don't know if you can see it, but just making sure I didn't have enough to fit like the very, very bottom. So little skunkers could probably get through there. But just trying to kind of secure some of these extra pieces. And at the beginning of the video, I kind of talked about problem solving and puzzles. And this project really kind of feeds my brain in that capacity. Like, I love puzzles. I sew, so I'm used to putting kind of like pieces of a pattern together and kind of being a graphic designer, I think that I have this, you know, I'm spatially and shape aware, so I'm able to kind of like not necessarily plan all of this out and let some of the pieces come together. So the last, you can see like this is only maybe a foot away, and luckily I had enough just to finish the whole entire thing and kind of bitting this last little corner together. So the last little part, like I said, is bringing in the younger chickens, and just stay tuned for that. Good morning. Are you still inside? First night, chickens. I'm not sure they know how to be outside. I tied this up for extra security just in case. It gets a little loose right here. Good morning. Hey, pretty birdies. Good morning. You can come out. You want some chicken snacks? You want breakfast? Here, buddy, you're brave. Come here. Look at you. It's okay. What's the outside like? What a pretty buddy. What a pretty buddy. Look at you. You're gorgeous. Hi. Come on out. It's okay. It's safe. Come on. You can do it. Brave birdies. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Uh-oh. Buddy, you're so pretty. How'd you get to be so pretty? Look at your pretty feathers. All right, come on, girls. Come on, the rest of you. Hurry up. You can do it. Come on. Come on. You got it. Hank, what are you doing over there, dude? Hi, Hank. What's up, buddy? We're helping the chickens. Yeah, we're helping the chickens. Come on, baby. Come on, you got this. Come on, chickies. Come on, chickies. Oh, other chickens. Come on, babies. Hank, cameo. Hi, Hank. Come on, babies. Yay! Come on. 2 more. Okay. Come on. First time outside. Yay! Two more. Yay! Yay! One more. Come on, honey. Dog. They're bears. Come on, baby. One more. Join the family. Come on, baby. Yay! All right, folks. All the new baby chickens that are growing up, they've been separated. I had to put them in the garage with the, but when I showed them the window out to the aviary, they just went back inside. So this is the first morning being outside chickens. Yay! Yay! So exciting. All right, so my next project here is I have
old stuff, right? I've got like old reusable things. So I'm going to create a couple of like sitting areas that are covered. I need to finish wrapping the enclosure on the outside wall. Need to make new fix the stairs. Yeah, exciting. I invite people to leave art behind when they stay here. And this is one that was done a few years ago. So it's getting a little weathered, but it's still really happy. Let's close with a Hank video. Thanks, everybody.